with the economy the way it is right now, even the lowest figure is going to be very arousing to our constituents. And, you know, there's people out there right now that are just making it, possibly making it to keep their home. Now, I know we've got a responsibility here in government to make sure that our finances and stuff, that we get enough to take care of the system. But here's one question that really bothers me. When we had all the engineering done for the sewer plant, it was based on $38 million. That's roughly what we wound up with, right? And my understanding from the board here and everything, these new homes and stuff was going to take care of that. Of course, with the decline in revenues as far as people building and stuff like that, I have to face facts as a commissioner, but it does bother me because this sewer plant's ain't good for 10 years. That's the prediction from all the engineers and stuff. And they made room right there for expansion. But anything you do expansion-wise, you're going to have to pay for it. It's not a given. And my question is, where's the drawing line for the constituents?
If the growth rate slows down, or has slowed down with the economy, then that 10-year number is pushed out further. Because if you don't have as many customers as you projected originally when you build it, the capacity will last longer. The new customers weren't going to pay to hold down rates for existing customers. They were going to pay to build the cost of building the plant, not to operate the plant. They would pay their share of operating the plant. You don't have any easy choices in front of you.
I know that.
I guess my don't shoot the messenger. You hired us
No,
to tell you what you need if you're not you wonder. I'd love to be able to tell you could cut rates 20% across the board, but then I'd be doing you a disservice and getting you in trouble and getting myself in trouble. But these are what your costs are, and this is what you need to charge if you want to break even. If you eliminate reserves completely, you're still only going to trim $1 off somebody's bill. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing a dollar's a dollar, but the risk you take of not adequately funding the thing far exceeds the short-term relief of saving people money. It's not an easy situation, and I don't envy you the decisions you have to make.
Well, I thank you for that, but don't use my burden.
No, it doesn't.
But, and again, I wish other people, state-wise and federal-wise, would realize these mandates that they're giving us are breaking our backs in our communities.
There are more and more unfunded mandates, and you're going to see even more because the water quality standards are going to get even tighter. The bay cleanup thing, I mean, everybody, we're seeing, not just in the Mid-Atlantic, but in the whole Northeast, people setting up stormwater utilities and stormwater charges to pay for runoff. That's the next thing that everybody's going to get hit with. And it's another unfunded mandate. If you want the environmental laws and you want the standards that they contain, then this is what it's going to cost you. And people, the public, every time somebody talks about rolling back environmental standards, it gets defeated. But yet nobody wants to pay for the cost of complying with them. I wish there were an answer. I mean, 30 years ago, there were piles of federal grants. Those days are gone. I don't know what the answer is.
I don't either, but thank you.
I don't think any of us have an answer, and the state doesn't have an answer because where they can cut, they'll cut, and then of course it trickles down to us, and we can't handle as much either. They're tying our hands as well.
And the state is cutting their funding everywhere they can, and I suspect there's going to be more cuts. I don't know. I haven't heard any of the numbers for fiscal year 2012, but I mean, the upcoming fiscal year 2011 for the state is going to be dreadful. And I guess hopefully the economy turns around so revenue starts picking up for 2011 so that 2012 is worse than the year that's coming at us
But all these figures you just gave us is enough, at least to keep us above water and, so to speak. Break even?
It's just a break even. You know, the numbers you saw at the bottom of the one sheet on the cash flow,
Yeah.
never more than, you know, $100,000 or $200,000 a year in cash at the end, you know, change at the end of the year. And you've got, you know, millions of dollars worth of assets here, so having a couple $100,000 cash, one way or the other, is basically break even. So these are expensive assets that you have bought and are paying for, and you really need to spend the money to protect them so they last, you know, as long as they can.
I really think a public program on conserving water is almost a necessity at some time in the future.
It is.
And that's the only way I see it. We have only limited amounts of well water. We have creek water, but it's evidently that you know, people leave the water running to brush their teeth, and we waste a lot of water. And I think the word's going to have to be conservation all the way around.
It is, but the sad truth is, when you build a water system, you have to build it for the maximum days usage. You have to build it for that day in August when everybody wants to water their lawn, even though you may only use 60 or 70% of the capacity on average all year round. You got to build it for those days when everybody wants to water their lawn, and that's why you're spending all this money. And that's one reason why people using declining block rates, so that people who water their lawn pay for that water rather than Widow Smith who doesn't water her lawn. It's just there is not enough water to go around. And if we had a way to distribute, we're working from the city of Cleveland, and we did some work for the city of Pittsburgh. They would give you water if you would take it, because they have, you know, millions of gallons of capacity they can't use because all their big customers are gone. You know, no big steel mills anymore. So if you had a pipeline to get it here, man, they'll give it to you. They have all those fixed costs, so when they built them, they got to pay for them. So just the problem, the water's not where we need it.
I think the mindset's always been that water is water, and every time you wake up in the morning and turn that faucet on, water's going to be there, no matter what.
People need to understand that you're basically delivering a gallon of water to their home for less than a penny. I mean, we talk about rates and we say in thousands of gallons or things like that. People don't stop to think about it. You deliver a gallon of water to their house for less than a penny. Yet if they go and try to buy a gallon of bottled water at 7-Eleven or something, they're going to end up paying $3 or $4 for a gallon of bottled water. People just don't realize the value you give them. And that's not much consolation when they complain about this.
Now we can only do what we can do. We try.
I'd also like to answer your question a little better. The question you gave me about what's the difference between 3,000 and 6,000. I think one of the big differences is if the bulk, a lot of your customers use 9,000 gallons, we'll say. I think it was 30% in that one block. And if you have 3,000 gallons in that included in the fixed charge, they're both collecting 30% in the fixed charge. The 3,000 gallons included and the 6,000 gallons included. However, if you go with 6,000 gallons included, those gallons after that are going to be at a higher rate, $1 more. So that person who's using 9,000 gallons is going to be paying more for their gallons than if you just had 3,000 gallons included. That makes sense?
Okay.
Like the unit rate is higher.
Higher, right. Okay. Anything else?
I mean, we would be delighted to answer questions, but this is a lot of information in a couple of pages. And it's an awful lot to try to absorb in a 20-minute presentation.
Well, I'm sure we'll all look at it and gave us a lot of information here and different plans, and we'll have to digest it and see what we can come up with the best solution.
Okay. We'd be glad to do whatever we can to do it all.
Okay.
I guess we're going to need to wait to hear from you all. On what you see.
Right.
Yeah, they'd be waiting for a recommendation and prepare your final report that would incorporate your desires as to which of these 5 alternatives that have been presented to you, you would follow along with.
If you ask us what would our recommendation be, it would probably be for alternative B as the one most fairly shares the burden and impacts people the most equitably.
You're saving that small user, you're not saving them, but, you know, you're not penalizing them, just $3,000 for that small user is still included. So that, you know, little old lady that we were talking about last time we had a meeting is still paying for that. But people who use water should be paying for it. You know, they shouldn't be getting all that water in their food charge.
Yeah, because that's true. A lot of people have always asked, but gee, I don't use that much water. Why do I have to pay that much money if I don't use 6,000 or anything like that? Because the elderly people, granted, they probably don't use as much, you know.
And if you did that, if you pull that plug up, Tracy, the one with the wheels on it, and if you went with alternative view, that little old lady, or little old man, not to be sexist,